Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you guys about weed management in a natural way or organic weed control and what we do for weeds in our gardens and our landscape, mainly in our landscape. In our raised beds, we just hand weed. So I'm mainly talking today about our landscape, and I'm holding this right here because this is my main tool that I love to use. So I saw some areas that I need to start weeding, and I was going to go ahead and just weed, and I thought I'll just grab the camera and show you guys my favorite tool that I love to use. And then in our gravel, there's some weeds that I need to start working on that I wanted to show you guys the products that I like to use to help keep those weeds at bay. So let me go ahead and show you. My first tool is the Stirrup Hoe. Some people call it the hula hoe, I've heard before, and I got this one, I believe, from Lowe's quite a few years ago, and I'll show you how it works. But it's probably my favorite tool because it has a little blade and it'll cut underneath the roots, so it'll actually cut the roots. You know, when you try to pull the weed by the roots, sometimes it breaks off. This will actually go underneath and it will cut all the roots underneath, and it's just a lot easier and a lot quicker than to be on your hands and knees and try to pull. And a lot of the times there's weeds in areas that have plants, so if you spray something, even if it's natural, you're running the risk of potentially killing a plant nearby or the roots of a tree or something like that. So this, in my opinion, is the quickest, easiest way for me to get around my flower beds. So I'll go ahead and start right here and I'll show you guys. Okay, so we are right here in the front of my house. Right here, you could see right here and right here, I have yet, since I built this house, I have yet to finish the tile because the glue for the let me see if I can show you the glue for these tiles. That is an exterior glue. I haven't been able to find it in an area, and I've just gotten so busy, so you can ignore that. This right here, if you see that, that's a trap for Japanese beetles, and I set it up. I need to renew the trap again, but man, it worked so well. These hydrangeas were beautiful. In another video, I will show you how to prune these. These are actually budding up a lot, or not budding out, they're leafing out a lot earlier than normally because our February has been significantly warmer than some in the past. But even when it's leafing out, because this one blooms on new wood, you are still able to shape this up and cut it. So I'll probably just do a separate hydrangea pruning video because I need to prune this one and a few others that I have. But I wanted to show you, this is our bed in the front. I have still yet to clean it up from last year's annuals, and that's fine, and I still need to come back and mulch this. But I have some weeds creeping through that you could see here, some debris. So now it's time for me to go ahead and clean this up, and as I clean it up, start to weed it later on after I plant it, I will come back and mulch this. Because if I mulch this now and then I plant later, I'm going to make a mess anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. So let me go ahead and show you how this tool works. So essentially all I do with this tool here, you can see the Stirrup Hoe, I just literally go back and forth, and you can see right here there's some weeds, and see how that just pulls right up. I have the roots here exposed. I literally just go back and forth. I'm not bending over at all, and you can see here my layer of mulch. It's fairly thick around the base of the tree, but this is all I'm doing. Sorry for the dogs barking, those are my neighbor's dogs trying to show up in our video. And this is such easy weeding right here because it's sitting pretty much on that mulch. Let me show you here a little bit of a close-up. You can see where my mulch is not as thick, that I have my clay soil here showing up, and that's okay. I'll cover that up later. I'm literally doing this one-handed because I'm holding the camera with one hand. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep on weeding, and I'll show you guys my next method of weeding that I like to use. Okay, so that weeding is done. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Right here you can see I went through, and with that hula hoe, or the Stirrup Hoe, I should say, I went through and I just went just like that. You can see I did not go through and thoroughly remove any of the weeds like this. You know, the greens are just kind of loose. right there. You can see this right here, it's loose. That will just deteriorate and go back into the soil. I did this whole section over here, which right now looks kind of messy, but you can see all these are loose. I may actually grab some of these and give them to our chickens because they love them. So that was not very labor intensive at all. That's pretty easy work. So I want to get on top of these weeds in our landscape beds now before they get too rooted in or too big. And especially because I don't want to do it in the heat of the summer because then it gets crazy. Okay, now the other product I love to use is the Deadweed Brew by Bonide. They come in these ready to go sprays. You can buy them bigger and put them in like a pump sprayer. But this works great. You do need a few days of light or sun where it's dry, and then the sun will actually burn, or I guess the leaves can't photosynthesize because of this. It is for organic use, so there's no chemicals. So I have a puppy. He's over there. I don't know if you guys see him. He was running around, but now I have the chickens out. So we have him in his little pen because I don't want him charging their chickens. But anyway, so I'm going to show you guys. I do have some weeds in my gravel, and this is what I use for that. It doesn't really take much of this spray to keep my gravel clean, but I'll show you that. Okay, so you can see right here, I have some weeds coming through. These are pretty new weeds. I didn't have these last year. And you can see I have just a few. And then here, I do need to add more gravel down there, but that stayed pretty weed free. And then down there, it's pretty weed free down there, except for that one line. We had a bag of chicken feed. I'm gonna show you over here. We had a bag of chicken feed over here that broke and we were dragging it, and the chicken feed literally sprouted. So we're gonna put our chickens there and have them have at it. Side note here, I did seed some grass here and it's coming up beautifully. Unfortunately, we don't have sprinklers yet, a sprinkler system yet. So our grass dies back in the summer because it kills it off. But I had to cover up that clay somehow. But you can see here, it's just getting so beautiful, and look at all those green sprouts. So hopefully I can either DIY some sort of sprinkler system or get something so that I can keep this grass beautiful and clean and not holy like that. But the summer is brutal on fescue grass. Okay, going back to right here, my gravel. So again, this sprayer here, you just use the spray as is and you just spray like that. There's not much to it. It does have a smell of like coconut oil because it is an ingredient in this. And again, do this on a sunny day. I'm not too careful. If you miss something, just go back and do it next time. This is non-selective, so it will kill pretty much anything. So if you are doing this around garden beds or around something that you want to protect, that's why I like the hula hoe or the stirrup hoe, because that is more specific. And I have lots of weeds here. I'm just going to go ahead and spray. The nice thing is about the spray, I'm standing and it shoots pretty straight, so you don't really have to bend over to get it. I try to do this on a day that's not very windy because it does shoot off a little bit extra. All right, so here you can see the areas that are kind of wet. I have about 3/4 of this bottle left, so I only used about 1/4. I think it's about $7 or $8 I paid for this one. I got most of the gravel in the front of the house already sprayed with this, and then I'll wait about a few days, 2 or 3 days, and if I missed a spot, I'll just go back and do that. It is recommended to do this probably about once a week, because then that'll be a lot better, and then the weeds will be killed at the root because they won't be able to take up nutrients, because they sometimes do come back. So again, this is my favorite method for gravel and some like beds that I don't have a ton of stuff in. For grass, I wouldn't recommend this, but Bonide does make a lawn weed brew, which when I seeded my grass, I do see some weeds here that I need to get, so I need to buy some lawn weed brew. I can spray it wherever I have weeds, and then I can reseed in the areas that are still a little bare. But for the most part, this grass is coming up beautifully. You can see right there, these weeds are flowering. I need to pull them. But I will spray lawn weed brew in some areas that I need fixing. All right, I'm gonna hop back to it. I'm just gonna keep going around with that stirrup hoe and getting our landscape beds. Won't take me but probably 30 minutes to do all around the house, if that. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop back to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found that helpful. We'll see you on the, sorry, I'm not pointing a, we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.